on adding and subtracting fractions. Now, we talked about multiplying and dividing fractions. And remember, when we multiply and divide, multiplying is a very simple process. You just multiply straight across. Dividing, you flip it and multiply. So the simpler thing to do with fractions is multiplying and dividing. When we talk about adding and subtracting, now in order to add and subtract, we have to start off with this common denominator concept. So when you find a common denominator, the common denominator is going to be the least common multiple. The least common multiple between the denominators of the fractions being added or subtracted. And so when we do this, we have to find multiples of numbers. We want to find the smallest that we can. All right. So if we look at these examples, find the common denominator between the given sets of fractions by giving their LCM. I'm only interested in the denominator of the fractions. I want to find the denominator. So the denominator between 5 and 7, their LCM, their least common multiple. Well, multiples just mean you're going to multiply by some number. So we keep multiplying 5 by a number to get it to a number that looks like 7. And it just so happens that when you multiply 5 by 7, you get the LCM of 35. So your LCM here is just 35. If we look at the next one, you have 3, 1/5, 2/3, and 5/6. So again, I'm only focusing on that denominator down here. 5, 6, and 3. So we want to get them to the same thing. Well, a common trick that some people do is they just multiply the fraction straight up. So I can literally multiply 5 times 3 times 6 and get them all to an LCM. But instead of doing that, I want to think of 5, 3, and 6 and see what do they all have in common? What's the smallest multiple they have in common? Well, it turns out that 5, 3, and 6, their LCM, I can get them all to 30. 5 times 6 is 30, 3 times 10 is 30, and 6 times 5 is 30. That's their smallest LCM. This last one, 4, 8, and 16. What do they all have in common? Well, they all have a multiple, and one way to do this is to look at them in terms of what is their greatest common factor. Well, 4, 8, and 16, they all have 4 in common, which means that you can literally take the 4 out of each one of these and realize that this is 4 times 2. This is, 4 times 4. So we have, it looks like it's going to be a factor of 4 for each one of these. So 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 2 is 8, and then 4 times 4 is that. So our LCM here is going to be the factor, the least common multiple of 16. Now I can get to 16 some kind of way. So once we are able to establish our LCMs, right, we can talk about adding these fractions in. And when we add fractions, we're first going to find a common denominator. First going to find a common denominator. Then we're going to add just the numerators of the fractions. So we just want to add the numerators. So once we have a common denominator, we're going to get them to we're going to add the numerators. So if you look at this first one, find the reciprocal for the given, shouldn't say reciprocal, it should just say add the fractions. So we're just going to add these. So 2 11s plus 5 11s. So here, notice that they both have a denominator of 11. That means when I add them, that denominator is not going to change. So I'm just going to write that in the end. It's going to be 11. I'm going to add 2 plus 5. I'm going to add 2 plus 5 just numerators. I get 7. If we can, we need to go back and put it in simplest forms when necessary. So the next one, 2/3 plus 5, 6. Well, I need to get them to an LCM. Their LCM is going to be 6. So I need to get 2/3 to an LCM of 6. So I'll take 2/3. I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by the same factor. So what do I need to multiply the denominator by to make it into a 6? I need to multiply that by 2. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2. And I want you to realize what you're really doing is you're multiplying both top and bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So what you're really multiplying by is a special form of 1 here. When we do that, we get this fraction to be 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. So now I can add them because they have a common denominator. So now I'm going to add 4, 6 plus 5, 6. And again, same denominator, so that's a 6 on top, 6 on the bottom. Numerators just add 4 plus 5 is 9. That's 9, 6. And again, if you can reduce it, they both have a factor of 3. So this reduces to 3/2. 1/4 plus 1, 6. Again, their LCM. We want to find their LCM. Well, the LCM between these two factors is the number 12. So I need to get them both to a 12. 1/4 I need to multiply that by 3 over 3 because I want to multiply the 4 down here to a number negative by 12, so that's a 3. If I do the bottom by 3, I have to do the top by 3. Plus 1 6. I need to multiply that by 2 over 2. And again, that's because I want that 6 to be a 12 now. So when I do that, I get multiplying. 3 times 1 is 3, so that's 3 12s. Plus 2 times 1 is 2, so that's 2 12s. Common denominator is 12 now. 3 plus 2 is 5, so that's just 5 12s. On this last one, 3x plus 1 4. Again, I want to get them to the same denominators. So 8 and 4, their LCM is going to be 8. So 3/8, so they already have the denominator of 8. Plus, I want to multiply 1/4 by, well, 4 times what is 8? And it'll be 2. So I'll multiply this by 2 over 2. And so I get 3/8 plus 2 times 1 4. 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 4 is 8. So when I do this, I get 5/8.